Okay, y'all. Some March energies here, all right? So I'm taking it. I'm not the only one going through this dark night of the soul. Here's what's going on. And this can always be described as the breakdown to the breakthrough. Basically, when we ask and when we do the work to want more in our life, more out of our life, to call in, you know, what we actually desire, it really forces you to purge everything that's standing in the way of that. I've been doing so much work, literally, clearing my womb space, clearing my bones of just, you know, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go like 4 videos back. Just start watching those ones where I'm talking about this dark night of the soul, because I've been trying to just document everything. I'm going to come out with a really, really powerful womb clearing meditation, and this is based on the work that I did on my own self, and it was so transformative, powerful, and freeing that I just want to offer that to women. So that will be coming soon. And it's just never easy. I mean, knowing that things are happening for a certain reason, like, you know, it doesn't really make anything any easier. But that's what's been happening, you know, like most of what I've been asking for is like being seen. You know, I want to be seen. I want to feel like I actually even belong in this world. And so a lot of the old programming of being ignored, being passed over, being forgotten, being unwanted, that is all coming up and swirling around. And, you know, I just hope at the end of this, I'm shifting timelines, I'm up-leveling, I'm, you know, gonna be in a different life, because anybody who sets out to do this work is really called to it out of pain, out of like a deep, deep desire to not continue life the way that you were. And, you know, those desires are basically dangled like a carrot in front of you to keep running and keep going and keep go on this path. So, you know, I'm here living it out. And, like, just a few days ago, I mean, I was just disgusted with some of the stuff I was remembering, and I had, you know, I had come back around to it. Just the way I was abandoned during my pregnancy, and I remember texting, calling, begging the father of my child to please show up to the ultrasound, like offering my wholehearted forgiveness for, like, you know, the abandonment, all the horrible things he had put me through. Just because so badly I wanted him to be present. So fucking badly I wanted that. I wanted a family. I didn't want to be a single mom. I wanted a family. And I have had to live out the hell, the internal hell of another cycle of, you know, everything. And I have put that away for the most part. I mean, my son is 8 years old, and I have, when I was moving forward, I genuinely believed I had just healed from all of that. But, oh, as it appears so, what I've been asking for in my life is an attentive partner. I don't even need a life partner. You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody who I'm around, I want to feel that they're attentive to me, that they are loving to me. You know what I'm saying? And like, that pain of what I went through when I was pregnant and just crying. And you know, when you're pregnant, like, everything's amplified. You're happy, or people will cry just watching commercials, you know what I mean? And I was here crying, devastated, because the father of my child was just treating me like I was literal dog shit. Like, what I wanted out of my pregnancy was to be cozy, at home, safe, loved. I wanted his arm around me, him rubbing my belly, him feeding me, like him wanting to prepare for our child together. And I didn't get any of that. I got blocked. He ghosted me. He literally ghosted me. I didn't even know where he lived. I didn't know where he went until like 8 or 9 months into my pregnancy. Somebody else had spotted his car, and they're like, I think he's living here. So I like checked it out, and I'm like, oh wow, you know. And it was so hurtful, you know. I needed food. I was hungry all the time. I had recently had a baby before that too, so it was like, this was like trauma on top of trauma, and I just needed support. And it was absolutely one of the hardest times of my life. I would cry every day. I would cry every night. I had no self-esteem. I was literally constantly calling him, to the point where I was actually blocked on the phone. He got a new number and I didn't even know it. And then I would find a way to like message him through eBay. I would say, please come over here. Please come over for dinner. I just need to be around you. Like begging to be acknowledged. And when you're pregnant with someone's child that you love, first of all, this wasn't like a one-night stand accident. I had had a relationship with this man, albeit, yeah, it was a little up and down. It was a little rocky, but I had been with him for 2.5 years. There was absolutely no deception as to whether, you know, was I on birth control, was I not on birth control. We had been engaging in unprotected sex for years. We had a passionate connection. And when I found out I was pregnant and he literally takes off on me, ghosts me, I'm there alone. I'm literally going through hell, because I had already been through getting pregnant and being abused and neglected or ran off on, and I did not want that cycle ever again in my life. And he knew that. I confided these things in him. And the only thing he ever did to me when I confided him things that hurt me was he would throw it back in my face and use it as like ammunition to hurt me, to make me feel that I'm less than, like in completely random off subject arguments or disagreements. And I wish that I would have never had children by any of these men that I had children by. It's just an all-around toxic, unhealthy situation. You know, I'm living it out. I'm dealing with the aftermath of what's happened to me. You know, I do my best that I can alone for the kids, but, you know, obviously having a family would have been so much better. I mean, I am not really sure if what I have gone through is something that I can all the way heal from, I'm going to keep trying. But when you're pregnant and you're having a baby with someone, I just wanted him to be there. I just wanted him to love me. Like, and I don't understand what was so hard about that. I don't believe I was asking for anything out of the ordinary. You know, I was already like paying my own bills, paying my own rent. I really, really wanted some companionship, and he never showed up, ever. He just was never there for me. I remember my brakes went out one day, and I was like sliding down a hill, and I was so scared, and I was like having to like pull off on the side of the road and like try to coast off, and where I could safely coast off into some grass. And I was just terrified. And he's a mechanic. That's the thing. Like, he's got the skills. He fixes cars. He has like 8 of his own cars, and he like rebuilds them and stuff. And like, I was so pregnant, and that was like, I didn't know what I was going to do. How was I going to get the baby anywhere? Like, and I already had toddlers, and I was like, you know, please, like, help me, like, come pick me up. Like, it was just so, being so alone when I was devastated beyond words. And why did I have to cry and beg? I begged this man, please, just help me. Like, I mean, I was absolutely disgustingly desperate, with absolutely no respect. Like, it was pitiful. And yet I had to live through that pain. Well, that's all been coming up lately, and I haven't brought that up for a very long time. You know, I think, well, for those of you who know the timeline, he came back finally about a month before I delivered the baby. And he was like real demanding that we get married immediately, you know. And of course that was all I ever wanted. But then the day we went to go get our marriage license, he was screaming at me. And he was like, come on, like, let's go fucking do this. Like, and I was like, whoa, like, this isn't how I want to go get our marriage license. Like, this is supposed to be a nice time. Like, no flowers, no nothing. Like, you're gonna yell at me? Yeah. And I reluctantly went along. He's like, well, this is what you want, isn't it? I'm like, not like this. Like, no, not like this at all. He was absolutely cruel to me. He was so verbally abusive and cruel to me while I was carrying his child, that part of me that desperately craved to feel like I was belonging allowed him back into my life. And I just wasn't thinking straight, because, you know, he did, you know, it wasn't nothing beautiful about it. You know, it was more isolation. It was, he would go off to the basement at like 8 or 9 p.m. and then I'd be awake alone with my other kids after I get them to sleep. And it was just more loneliness. And then after, oh my God, I can't even get into everything, like the abuse right up until I delivered. My fear, my absolute fear for my child, my fear for myself that I had to live out, it's been coming up for me. And it's not something that I thought about all the time. I mean, like I said, this happened 8 or 9 years ago. It's not like I think about this every day. Really. I mean, I think a couple years into when he abandoned me again, that kind of came back. It resurfaced again a little bit for me, but I mean, it's really been coming up full force to the point where it's really calling for my attention to heal it, you know? So I've been deep diving. I've been allowing myself to feel it. I've been accepting my fate. I've been accepting my path. I've been telling myself, okay, I am meant to feel this. This is a human emotion. This is what I'm meant to be feeling. I'm trying to find acceptance with this. And it has been hard. I mean, it has. Like, I can't sit here and act like it hasn't. I mean, this has been a lifelong battle with being abused, in one form or the next, you know what I mean? And I don't want it. I don't want that anymore. I don't want that. I don't know how else to say it. And I want to heal so much internally that it's just not a question. It would get to the point where, like, even if we were going somewhere, like, I would actually get complimented by strangers, and some, you know, people would say, oh, you look so beautiful or whatever, and I would, because he never said anything nice to me. He's never called me, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't compliment me. He's cruel to me. I might start opening up about some more stories about some of this too, because this is my karmic twin we're talking about, and I could tell you some stories of some days that were supposed to be special and beautiful that he really knew how to take the knife. These narcissistic men, karmic partners, they know you so well that they know exactly what can hurt you. And the basis between having these karmic relationships is that they're going to mirror to you your wounds. He's showing me where my wounding is. And before I was aware of that, you know, it's not like I was actively healing anything. I didn't know what healing was. I would just keep going around in the pattern. I didn't know that I could actually consciously break this pattern. And so now when things like this come up, I break the pattern by feeling it, allowing myself to immerse in this pain, allowing myself to just mourn for that younger version of me, and comforting that younger version of me, saying kind things, apologizing that this has been my fate. This has been my reality. This has been my existence. And when I remember everything he's put me through, I'm repelled to even think about allowing him near me. And I go through back and forth phases with him where sometimes I can forget it and I can allow him superficially in the moment to meet a need that I have, whether that's physical, like he's touching me, or like I need fucking help with my house. I'm a single mother. There's a lot of broken stuff around here. There's a lot of heavy lifting that needs done. And unfortunately, I've been put into the position to have to kind of take the scraps that I'm offered when they're offered. And I'm trying to break out of that as best I can, you know, because there's no consistent partner around here, or multiple men that can just each fulfill one little need, which was, I guess that would be fine too. But I'm just saying, like, this is here nor there whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. It is what it is, and I'm very much trying to accept what has been. And so that's come up for me 3 days ago and 2 days ago. It came up for me in a very, very big way. And, you know, I know what I did to heal it. It took me hours, you know, a couple hours here, a few hours here, consciously doing things throughout the night, working with this full moon energy, working with my subconscious. Just, it's a lot of dedication. A lot of dedication. But surely, if I was unaware and unconscious and unable to help myself through this, it would just keep happening. And major shifts are going on in March. So, you know, if you are kind of going through a period where you are just, you've fallen into a state of apathy, a state of depression, and then on top of that, reliving things that may have happened 10 years ago or, you know, a long time ago, just, you know that it's coming up. It's coming up to be felt. It's coming up to be healed. Pushing it away will just prolong, you know, and I think that, you know, I never really sat down and dealt with that. It was always keep going. I got stuff to do, you know, I didn't have time. I've always been in survival mode, fight or flight mode, and I never allowed myself the time. Well, it wasn't that I didn't allow myself. I didn't have any support. I still don't have any fucking support in life, you know. I mean, I'm okay at this point financially, which allows me to take the time off. Not off, but you know what I mean? Like, I have the lifestyle now that I can give myself the grace that I need, that I should have gotten a long time ago. And I think that more people are coming aware of healing trauma. And one of the biggest things that people are talking about now is like, okay, the space, the years between when the shit happens to when you're finally healing it, the longer that you go, the more embedded that it gets, you know what I mean? So like when you, and I mean, this was like the icing on the cake, if you will, the straw that broke the camel's back, because it's not like I hadn't been dealing with abandonment in a different way. It's that I had been dealing with abandonment over and over and over and over and over again. And because I was so unconscious and unaware that I was just replaying abandonment, it took something so extremely painful and soul-breaking, like falling in, well, it's not love when you fall in love with a karmic, it's the wounding, but it had gotten so deep The wounding had never been healed. The wounding had kept getting deeper and deeper and deeper. That by the time I had encountered my karmic twin and just the extreme loss, that was it. Absolutely terrified. I was in my most vulnerable states around that man. And when I was at my most vulnerable, my most wide open, you know, like they say when you are with the wrong person, it's like they know exactly where to hurt you. And without fail, every time there was an opportunity for kindness, it was met with abuse. And I apologize to that version of myself that just believed that that's what I deserved. I mean, honestly, no person deserves that. And I know a lot of this is collective. I know a lot of women are out there dealing with absolutely sickeningly sociopathic men who I don't even think they realize some of the time. I really don't think. It's almost like when you're dealing with somebody who's autistic or has like that defiant disorder. Because no matter what you do, it's like, if you've dealt with a true narcissist, you know. It's just as if in every moment, what you dearly, dearly crave and need, they make sure to withhold that from you. Or give you like the complete opposite. You know what I mean? It's something I will never allow myself to be involved in again. Like, I'm very aware of red flags. I'm very aware of things now and what feels good and what doesn't. And when I really decided that he needed to move out again for the last time, it was so much grief, because I knew what I so wanted for that period of my life was never going to be. But it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It wasn't a happy family. It wasn't support. It wasn't love anyway. It wasn't that. So I was already not getting what I needed, and I had to get out of that situation, and it's destroyed a lot. I can't even act like it was an easy thing to do. And I think too many people, they fucking act and say, as soon as you take that leap to get away from the wrong person and get out of a bad situation, everything changes. No, it doesn't. Sometimes it actually gets worse. And I hate to say it like this, but there's a lot of practical reasons why many women have to stay. Especially women who don't want to lose out on their children. I did not want to lose out on my child. He used my child as a weapon for a very long time. Still kind of does. But he's bigger now, and I feel like I can, but very long time. And knew that was a way to hurt me. Knew that me and my son had a close bond. I was a nursing mom. Like, he knew that. And he used that as a weapon. And unforgivable things that he said, unforgivable things that he did, unforgivable the things that he didn't do. And I am just absolutely, I was just sick over it for these past few days. And now I can speak about it. You know, I can speak about it now, but I couldn't before. So, yeah. You know, there's a lot. But, I guess that's going to be it for this video. Whoever's following along on my journey, you know, thanks for being here. Like, I just want to connect with people, and I want to be able to help people. Like, I want to not only for myself come out on the other side of this, but I want to do that so that other people can see that it's possible. And sometimes I get really down because I feel like if I can't do this, then like, and I know how dedicated I am, then like maybe it's not even real. Maybe healing isn't real. Maybe it's never going to happen. You know, like sometimes I get those thoughts and those, I had no example, you know what I mean? Like I never had an example. I've never had someone to show me how to not have that be my life. It's always been an underlying grief of pain, of something missing. And like I said, I've had some shifts. I've had some pretty big shifts, but you know, this is another backwards moment of coming back around, you know. And I think I'm just following along with a lot of the energetic reports that are going on. You should check out Glacia Rain. She does some good energy reports. And so, you know, hearing other spiritual ascension people talking about these shifts, talking about going through another dark night of the soul, I feel better because I kind of know, like, hey, okay, so this is a thing. It's not just me, like, you know, so if I can be that person for you, like, hey, it's a thing. It's not just you. Like, I'm in a challenge, you know, I'm trying to get out of this. Like, anybody who has watched me at any point in time knows that I just wanted to change my life. I wanted to not be the person I was. I didn't want to be somebody that gets kicked around like an old breed mare. I didn't want to be somebody who's just some forgettable, replaceable, tossed out like an old shoe shit, nothing to nobody. That's not who I want to be, and that's not how I want to get treated. So, like, here I am, you know, pouring my soul out to the world, to whoever will hear it, you know. And if you're doing this work, if you're doing this healing, like, you know, it's not easy. You know, it's not all love and light. It's really going to the deepest depth, darkness, abuse, pain. We're here for it. We're here for this human experience, y'all. So, holla at your girl. Bye.